Okay, so very good morning to one and all present here. On the behalf of Amity Institute of Travel and Tourism, Amity University, Kolkata, we are extremely glad to have on board with us today Mr. George Scaria, all the way from Kerala, to deliver a session on role of responsible tourism and sustainability. I would now request Professor Amrita Choudhury to please introduce our esteemed guest of the day to the audience.
Thank you, Professor Vandita. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you're perfectly audible.
Okay. A very good morning to Mr. George, to all the faculty members and my dear students. We are immensely fortunate to have Mr. George Scaria, Managing Director at Keralavoyages India Private Limited, a travel life partner, DMC for South India, focusing on community-oriented sustainable tourism projects in region, offering customized tour programs, experience programs like adventure travel, wildlife, birding tours, culinary tours, destination weddings, incentives, and mice. Mr. George has over 30 years of ground experience in farming, customer care, marketing, and hospitality operations. His 15 years of traveling and living in Europe molded him to be a matured lifestyle and better sustainable standards. He is a guest faculty at MCI Management Centre Innsbruck, Austria, on sustainable tourism. He's a travel life certified sustainability manager as per European standards. So we are extremely glad to have you amongst us. I think our students will be benefited by your experiences and by your, since you have been there at the ground level, you have been working for so long. So your presence, I think it would be helpful for us as well as for our students. So over to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Amrita and Professor Vandita. Good morning, my students. I'm so happy to address you today as you are the future of tourism. So we have chosen a subject, which may be a little bit boring when compared to travel, as a leisure subject. But I should say that, this is going to be the future of tourism. So why I have put this, of course, I should tell you in advance, you may be having a little bit of confusions when compared to the conviction you already have in your curriculum, but we will all settle all such doubts and things, during the end of the lecture. You can ask any questions to clarify your doubts. So why I have taken this particular topic, the role of responsible tourism in sustainability. We all know that, responsible tourism is a, regularly taught subject in tourism. Most of us know what is responsible tourism. But lately what happened, sustainability in tourism has really taken over, the responsible, because just because of responsible tourism or community oriented things, tourism cannot be sustainable. And the necessity of the time is that, we should move with the world. We have to be global because tourism is a global product. So sustainable tourism is always considered as a part of, responsible tourism is always considered as a part of sustainable tourism, but it is not fully sustainable. Just because, you are doing responsible tourism, you cannot say that, you are sustainable. So there are some, tough elements, which should combine in sustainability, and responsible tourism has got, few of that elements. So when we are talking about sustainability in tourism, it's a global subject. Why? Because you know that, the global warming is a big cry across the globe. You have seen, many processions in Europe. Across the globe, many people are coming on the street, crying about the global warming and the climate problems and all. So what happens when we are talking about sustainability in tourism? Why last day, somebody was asking in one of our platforms, why we are talking or blaming only tourism, who are creating problems to the sustainability. It is because tourism is one of the biggest industry which brings the largest part of carbon emission to this planet. So naturally we are responsible when we are earning our livelihood from tourism. It should be our priority that our tourism should be sustainable, so that the blame from the public will come, I mean, lower and lower on the coming days. So when we are talking about sustainability in tourism, there are three elements. We call it as three P's, that is people, planet, and profit. I will go through each topic later, but this is the crux of sustainability in tourism. We have to take care of the people, we have to take care of the planet, and we have to take care of the profit. Profit has got a different meaning in sustainability. It is not the profit from the business, but it's the economic distribution made from the particular business. Sustainability is a key. We know that sustainability is very nice in any area of your life, or I mean the planet, but it needs an organic growth. That is why where we clash with mass tourism and sustainable tourism. When it is a mass tourism, the growth is not organic; it's an inorganic growth. And what happens when a pandemic like COVID comes, I mean, and attacks us, our growth goes to zero. So that is not organic. But when we have a sustainable strategy, I mean, definitely the growth should be an organic growth. So there should be a growth. That there is absolutely no doubt, because sometimes people ask me questions that what do you mean by sustainability in tourism? Is it a cheap tourism or something like that? It is not like that. There should be a growth in sustainable tourism, but it should be a continuously sustainable progression. As you may be knowing, in tourism, sustainable aspects have very important role in present times, as the cry on global warming, climate change, and CO2 emissions are becoming louder day by day. I told you why this carbon emissions. Why? Because tourism. We know that we are the community which uses the maximum airline seats, the maximum road transport and train or whatever. I mean, whatever mode of I mean transportation. Tourism is the biggest consumer. And secondly, when you go to the hotels also, every hotel in every destination, it creates a lot of carbon emissions by way of using electricity, by way of misusing the local village water, and a lot of things. So there's a growing global trend towards sustainable practices in tourism, which gives India the push to partner with the UNWTO for making India a sustainable destination by 2030. As tourism students, I'm sure you will be aware of this particular treaty signed by UNWTO and Indian government. So the treaty is not just in tourism, but to maintain sustainability in all the aspects of our life. So if you have noticed these days, recently I had to go to the court for attending one of our association cases. So I had a particular I mean court documents in my mind, like a green kind of paper, printed one side and uh, put it in a very big file and all. But this time when I went to my lawyer's office, I could see that the papers have become A4 size white papers, and they have started printing on both sides. So I checked with the lawyer why, from since when it is started. So they said for the last 1 or 2 years there is a clear instruction from the government that all the courts in India should use A4 size paper and they should print both sides. So why did I mention about printing on both sides? So that means the sustainability part is coming common to the all the aspects of life nowadays in India. So when you are using your paper with the two-side printing, you are saving 50% of the paper. For example, if there is a 100-page document which is printed on double sides, you reduce it to 50-page document. And when you save one A4 size paper, we are saving 10 liters of water, because to make one A4 size paper, we need 10 liters of paper, water, plus the wood. I mean the wood. The pulp and all. So there is a clear what you call growing trend towards sustainability in every area. Maybe we are not seeing this in our daily life, but this is the way India is going. Of course, due to the huge size of India and its population, it may take some time to make it so visible, but India is doing a good job on that. Even if you take, I'm not sure whether you have seen the new national tourism policy. This is the first time India is coming out with the national tourism policy. It is already available on the domains. So in that policy, sustainable tourism is the core base of our new national tourism policy. So you have to understand, why we are talking about, sustainability very much, especially during COVID resilience period. We are still suffering. The tourism is the most, suffered industry in the global pandemic, and we are trying to be resilient in the coming months or maybe in a year. So you may be knowing this face, Mr. Suman Pilla. He was our Joint Secretary in India Tourism. Now he is a director with UNWTO. So this is his latest, comment. While there are apprehensions about how the travel world will shape up and how consumers will react to travel products and services after the pandemic, it is certain that the days of mass tourism are over. The days of mass tourism are over, and the new set will be more inclined towards sustainable, responsible, and meaningful travel. So why I am insisting on saying that the days of mass tourism are over? We should understand we are living in a country with huge population. Whichever, as many of you are in Kolkata, I have never been to Kolkata, but I still know that this is one of the busiest cities in India. So we are really, living like that. But if you are talking about the COVID, post-COVID scenario, or maybe even during this time, we want to avoid all the kind of crowds, and we don't want to go to the gatherings, because our safety is the most important thing. So even the global population, travelers population, is also thinking at the same way. So my company is basically working in the European market. We are there for last 20 years, and all my clients are European tour operators. So we have a regular discussions on these kind of things. And I was just checking during COVID time in India. Of course, we were worried about our lockdowns, and we were, worried about our livelihood and all these kind of things. What the European or the Western travel companies did, they were equipping themselves to be a sustainable tour operator or a hotelier post COVID. That was the wisest thing, they did. And I could really enjoy a bit of that, because one of our Swiss tour operators, insisted that if we need to work together, our company also should be a sustainable certified company. So we also work towards that. I'll talk to you on that later. This is the sustainability in tourism, the definition. Sustainable tourism meets the needs of present tourists and the host regions while protecting and enhancing opportunity for the future. That's important, because we know that we are showcasing our products to the tourists. That is okay, and from that we make the money. But when we do that, we should ensure that we are protecting our nature and the people and the culture and the socio-economic things to really pass it to the next generation also. That is what is called future. So this applies to both the traveler and the local community. That is the role of responsible tourism in sustainability. It is envisaged as leading to management of all resources in such a way that economic, social, and aesthetic needs can be fulfilled while maintaining cultural integrity, essential ecological processes, biological diversity, and life support systems. So when you go through these kind of what you call crucial terms like cultural integrity, essential ecological processes, biological diversity, and life support systems, you may wonder how it is possible in a country like India. I should tell you very frankly that sustainability or growing towards sustainability is not that kind of a difficult process. And any sustainable initiatives or any sustainable certification or sustainable management doesn't ask you to be sustainable in an overnight. It can be a progressive, a progression towards sustainability. That is what, when they say that essential ecological processes, it is not saying telling you that you should change the entire ecological process in India to become sustainable. It will never happen. So what happens? We will try to improve our present unsustainable ventures and trying to turn it into a sustainable process. So gradually, maybe within 2 or 3 or 5 years, your organization or your individual career will become sustainable in tourism. So this is what we need to keep it in mind. Uh, you don't need to be blindly trust someone saying that sustainability is a difficult subject. It's not a difficult subject, and without sustainability you cannot grow in tourism. I can be very sure, because if you take the global population, around 60% of the travelers are looking for sustainable options in travel. So if you do not have an option to give them as a sustainable option, they may not really work with you. So once you finish your courses, when you go to the your career levels in offices or in companies, definitely your productivity should be based on this exclusive subject on sustainability. If you are not capable enough to contribute towards sustainability in your organization, naturally the big companies, what they do, they always hire people who can really contribute to the present need of the industry. And when sustainability is concerned, the biggest concern is that when the big companies want to practice sustainability, the management will be too big. It can be the Oberois or Taj, and the owners, they will never come on the board, to really look into this. So naturally, the managers are interested with managing sustainability in the company. So it is important that you should focus on sustainability in tourism. So according to this division, you can read it. It is all right to enjoy tourism and to benefit from it financially. That is fine. Up to that, it is fine. But we should make sure that this will still be possible for future generations. So that is what, for example, you might have heard about fossil fuel economy. That was something, which we are enjoying up to now, because, we were utilizing all the fossil fuels, to run our cars and planes and all the kind of transport and whatever. But now you can see what we are doing. We are shifting towards electric vehicles, electric bikes, and electric trains are already there in India. And now the airline industry is also trying to adopt the least carbon emitting engines and all. So things are changing, just because they want to keep these kind of leisure things for the future generations. Otherwise, our nature will come to an end, and our future generations will not be able to even breathe good oxygen. So if we damage the cultures and natural environments in tourist destinations, these destinations will lose the elements which are the base of their attractiveness. This is one point you should really keep it in mind. Why a tourist come to your particular destination? Sometimes I heard the politicians say, from their ignorance, they used to say that the European or Western people are coming to Kerala, a place like Kerala. If you know Kerala, it's a very green state with a lot of forests and greenery, and a lot of lakes and beaches and all. So our politician was saying that the Westerners are coming to Kerala to enjoy the nature in Kerala. So this is not correct, because if you go to Europe, Austria or Switzerland, or even Germany or any Scandinavian countries, they have got wonderful nature, than in any destination in Kerala or in India. So actually, the tourists, coming, even our, Indian tourists, why they come to Kerala. Some people may be coming to the hill stations of Kerala to enjoy the climate and all. But still, the new generation, I have seen, why they come to a destination. They want to explore the culture. They want to explore the local cuisine. They want to explore the local lifestyle. So this is a kind of, this diversity is the biggest asset of India. So if we do not maintain this, or if you do not sustain this kind of natural environment and the cultural attraction, then the tourists will stop coming to our destination, because nature is always same in different places of the world. So you cannot just say that people come to Kerala or India for nature or something. Of course, we have got a very nice tradition. I will take you through some nice images where you will understand what I mean by the importance of sustaining our culture. I just want to definitely, you don't need to worry. I am going to the responsible tourism part only. But before that, you should understand what is the base of responsible tourism or sustainable tourism. As I told you, the three P's: people, planet, and profit. People stands for the socio-cultural interests of the local population. It is not just the people. Sometimes this people component in responsible tourism is misinterpreted as the only the local community. It is not true. Local community, of course, they are an integral part of this, but whoever is a part of that particular tourism activity comes under the word people. It can be the employees in a tourist company, it can be the employees of a hotel in a destination, it can be a tourist taxi driver, it can be a guide engaged in the tourism. So these are all, they are all, coming under the term people. That is why when this pandemic attacked the whole world, India failed very much to protect the people component in tourism. We have got around 5.5 crore people working in Indian tourism, and we know that there was absolutely no incentive given by the government to protect this employment. But if you look at, I spend almost 5 months every year in Germany because I have got a base in Germany, so I know the social system is totally different there. And even today, the government is paying salaries to all the tour company employees, up to 80% of their drawings before the pandemic, because they want they know the importance of the people factor. So this is what is called sustainability. And in India, our main asset is our people. If you talk about Indian hospitality, you may be knowing, the global travelers, they really boast about the Indian hospitality. That is what we are known for. So when we are talking about the hospitality, who delivers the hospitality? The people. It can be a tour executive at the airport, it can be a taxi driver, it can be a guide, it can be a hotel manager, it can be a hotel employee, whoever it is. So we should keep it in mind that. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. I have got a power problem. That's why. Okay, so this is something very very important when we are talking about purpose. So this involves labor conditions, attention to vulnerable groups in society, human rights, no discrimination, no child labor or sexual abuse, etc. So these are the kind of things we have to keep it in mind when we are talking about people. And when it comes to planet, again, it concerns the natural environment. In sustainability, it is called as planet, not environment. So, it's important to keep the term in a very wide, wide area. So, planet means the entire globe comes, the entire nature comes, everything under the sky it comes under planet. So, it is important to inflict minimal damage to the destination, its flora, fauna, water, soil, and climate. To protect the environment by taking. Hello.
So, actually, what's happening? I don't understand, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You may please go ahead. I think there was some confusion.
Okay. No problem. Okay. So to protect the environment by taking various measures, this is also part of the sustainable tourism. And when it comes to profit, it is not the profit we make from the business. It is about the economic interest which is being created from tourism. So you need to really understand what we call by economic interest. Of course, the business is done for profit. There is absolutely no doubt. And some people think that sustainable tourism or responsible tourism is a kind of a cheap tourism where people can enjoy paying very cheap money. It is not like that. Definitely, sustainable tourism will be costly for the tourists because the money which are being paid for such activities in sustainable tourism is being distributed to many people around the local community. It can go to a local farmer, it can go to a local shopkeeper, it can go to a local housewife who is doing a cookery show. If you take in Kerala, we have got a lot of responsible tourism activities, which is based on the local community. I'll definitely have a nice video to present you how it works in Kerala, and we got this UNWTO releases award for the best responsible tourism destination in the world. So this is something you should keep it in mind. People, planet, and profit. Profit is always about the economic results of tourism, which should be reasonably distributed to the local community who are being suffered by the pressure from the tourism. Because, for example, if you if you find a lot of tourists coming into your home area, and it if it really affects your privacy, you are really paying a price for that. I mean, sometimes you should, if you are not being getting compensated for such disturbances, then you would not like the tourist to come to your locality. So this is why we are insisting that any tourism activity in any destination should benefit the local community also. So this is what I wanted to tell you, that we are the only one Travelife certified tour operator in India. This is a certification, if you can read, I mean, it is as per the GST, the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, and it is as per the European Union. So the certification is equivalent to ISO 26000, and this meets all the criteria towards corporate social responsibility in tourism. So this is something we achieved during the pandemic. We started our procedure in the month of April, and by November we got, on 24th November we got certified, and we are lucky to be the first and only company in India to get it certified. This has got a lot of strict reporting system, and a site audit, which is also very strict. We cannot really pay money or get this certification. They should really get convinced about the sustainability a company is managing. So they really look how we treated our employees during the pandemic or before the pandemic, and how we treated our guests, and we have to even convince them with the communications with our guests and our partner tour operators. So they check many aspects, even the what you call the health benefits we are given to our employees. There are many things. But why I wanted to show you this is that sustainability in tourism is always having a global criteria. You cannot just be happy with the local criteria, which is being local certificate, which is being issued by your state tourism department or your panchayat or municipality, because we are addressing a global community. So naturally, if our certifications are not as per the global criteria, then these certificates will not have any value, towards a global population. I just want to take you through a small video to understand why I am insisting on the importance of keeping the cultural heritage. So if we do not sustain, these kind of things, you can see, when you play music, nowadays, we have got the most modern electronic equipments which can bring any kind of voice. But we should understand this particular electronic system is available. Maybe better things are available, beyond India. So why should a foreigner come to India to just follow up some jazz music or whatever available in their own country? So why they are coming here now? To understand that the traditional systems we were following. So I have taken our national anthem. You can just follow this. So I'm sure you got my point, that the instruments in which they were using was almost traditional things, so that makes a difference. So if our tourists are able to enjoy these kind of cultural or our socio-cultural heritages, then they'll be happy to visit India. Now I'll rush through because we are running short of time. You can see these images, again, why Taj Mahal, why Red Fort, why the people come to see all this, because they do not have these kind of things in their country. So that's the importance of sustaining the heritage in our country. You can see the diversity in architecture, history. This and all these images I have personally gone and taken from different parts of India. It's not Googled. When it comes to culture and lifestyle, again, India has got the widest variety of lifestyle. Every city, every village you go, you will find a different kind of lifestyle. This is Mumbai. Again, we have got landscape is also totally different in different parts of India. Art forms, many art forms. So that's the difference, when we are talking about a sustainable heritage we promote. So when it comes to ecotourism and responsible tourism, sometimes ecotourism is being explained as responsible tourism or sustainable tourism. So that is a confusing thing, because ecotourism stands for sustainable tourism in natural areas for which the UN World Tourism Organization has set up clear criteria. So we cannot call every tourism in the nature as ecotourism. It should be a sustainable model as per the criteria set up by the UNWTO. This you should keep it in mind, because I have seen many people saying that we have got ecotourism projects here and there, but I found that it is not as per. For example, if you are conducting an elephant ride in a farm, you may think that as it is being conducted in the farm, it is an ecotourism, but elephant ride is totally against the criteria which is being set by UNWTO. Any animal activity, in tourism is against the criteria of sustainability. This is for your information. So frequently the word ecotourism is confused with the sustainable tourism in the large sense, and often also non-sustainable tourism to natural areas is marketed as ecotourism. This is what, especially in India, we can see this a lot. Many maybe because of ignorance, people are doing. But also, we do not have a centralized tourism policy in India, so that people can really venture into tourism, and they can term it as ecotourism or whatever it is. But when the global population comes out and see this, they will start complaining about this. And community-based tourism or responsible tourism is our subject today. So this is something which we should understand, which can be the key point in the future towards sustainability. Because if the local community is not being a part of tourism, what happens, in the coming days, especially when the resources of a country is getting lower and lower, the local people will, start, fighting against tourism. Because, if they are not being benefited about the tourism results in the country, in the destination, why should they support tourism? So the most important part to bring a revolution in tourism in the future, because anybody can build 5-star, 7-star hotels or 200, 300 room hotels or big resorts or convention centers, which can be done by anyone. But the problem, how it is getting sustained. You can see now, if you take Kerala, for example, I can vouch for that. There are many destinations like Munnar and Kumarakom and Kovalam beaches and all. What happened? No, there were a lot of constructions went into the infrastructure. A lot of hotels without understanding the carrying capacity of the destination. And now in the pandemic for the last 1 year, everything is closed, and the loss is so huge, because they could not really manage to maintain the property. They could not manage to pay the salaries to this many employees. So that means we have created an unsustainable infrastructure for tourism. It would have been much better if we had involved the local community, and we had promoted more of small units like homestays and furnished villas or something like that. But instead, we went for big hotels, 100 rooms, 200 rooms resorts and all. So CBT or community, CBT is a global term used for responsible tourism. That is community-based tourism. It's really managed and owned by the community, supporting environmental, social, and cultural sustainability. Why I am telling this? I am from a farming background. My family is into farming. Even now, I have got my own farm. So I am spending a lot of time in my farm whenever I am in India. So my father taught us, without protecting your nature, without conserving your nature, your farm has no life at all. So what we did in our farm, when we lose a tree, we plant 10 trees, because of course, we are into cardamom plantation. So naturally we need trees, the cardamom grows only under the shade, so we need the trees. So whenever we lose a tree of age or something like that, we plant 10 trees. So this is the way, we sustained our nature, because without this equilibrium in the nature, without this balancing in the nature, our farming will not progress. So if you take any farmer in the local community, you can understand, why they are fighting for their rights, or why they are, requesting the governments to maintain the geographical balancing, because they know it very well. Without this balance, the farming is, farming has no future. So that is environmental side. And the local people, what they do, they never disturb the environment, because they know the importance of the ecological balance. So they always support this environmental balance. Then when it comes to social side, again, the local community is the best community to tell the people what was the social or cultural heritage they had in their local community. And it is important that the tour operators or the tour companies and the travelers coming to that particular destination maintains, that kind of a social discipline. So this is why, if we go to a beach in India, sometimes, I'm, of course, Goa, beaches like Goa are different. Goa has got a kind of an English culture. So they allow a little more, more social things. But when you come to South India like Kerala or something, in a beach, it is very difficult that you allow the tourists in their bikinis or something like that. So you have to advise your clients, that you should maintain a decorum on your dressing. I still remember, my university in Austria, my students, I brought them for a tour in Kerala for 5 days. We had around 30 students, and out of that, around 21 were girls. They were all in the, undergraduate students. And when I took them to a beach, I told them that you should be very modest in dressing you, because it's a local beach and people. And they were really, pleading me to allow them half an hour in their bikinis. So we know that, this is a traveling nature or a behavior of a Western traveler. When they come to a beach, they want to be in their bikinis and they want to go into the ocean. But we should understand what kind of, social and cultural heritage we are maintaining in that particular destination. A big tour company based in Delhi or Kolkata or Mumbai may not be aware, what is the cultural or social situation in Kerala. So naturally, it is important that we involve the local community into this, and of course provides economic opportunities for local people. Actually, when we are talking about the responsible tourism and the economic opportunities, we should understand the biggest importance or biggest significance of this kind of economic activities. The money which comes to local tourism or community-based tourism lies in the local area only, because the money, if you go and stay in a homestay, the money goes to the local house owner, and he brings this money to the local shop to buy groceries and all, and he employs the local people to maintain his home or farm. So naturally the money circulates in the local area only. But when you are talking about the commercial mass tourism, the money goes to the international chains of hotels or big companies, which may not really stay in the local, because they may be having a centralized purchasing system and their employees may be from different parts of India. So naturally, it doesn't stay in the local as such. So the community will be aware of the commercial and social value placed on their natural and cultural heritage through tourism, and this will foster the conservation of these resources. So there should be when we engage the local community, that particular balancing between the the conservation of the heritage and cultural or social things with the demands of the modern tourists. So definitely in the beginning, there can be some clashes. We had it in Kerala also, but now in Kerala, if you see that we have got a lot of responsible tourism destinations, which is after a lot of training. Now the people understand what it is and all. So eco-development societies is one of the biggest things. It's all over India. You may be knowing whenever you go to a forest destination for activities, there will be an eco-development society. What India did, you may be knowing, the tribal people across India, they used to live with the forest. They were in the forest, and they used to take the resources from the forest, and they brought it to the market and sold, and they had their livelihood. But when the conservation, for example, the tiger project or the save elephant project all came globally, India wanted to really be a part of the project, and they wanted these tribals to be out of the forest. So this was not an easy thing. So to equip them to manage their livelihood, there is a system called Eco Development Society. These tribals, they were brought out of the forest, and they were trained very well. And now most of the forest, you can see that the tribal, the jungle guides are all from the tribal community, and the money comes from this particular thing, goes to their own society, and they are happy with the tourists, and they will be the best people to conserve the forest. So they have stopped poaching, they have stopped cutting trees, and instead they know that their livelihood lies in the forest, and they maintain the forest. So responsible tourism in Kerala, as such, this is always a initiative from the government. It's a PPP, it's a public-private partnership. So there should be an initiative from the government. And Kerala, we have got a very nice initiative called Responsible Tourism Mission, which is one of its kind in India. Now they have been called by Madhya Pradesh Tourism and Chhattisgarh also, for consultancy and all, because this is a very nice functional model. And Kerala government was very keen on this, promoting responsible tourism. So the attraction is that it minimizes the negative social, economic, and environmental impacts, generates greater economic benefits for the local people, and enhances the well-being of host communities. So this is what we discussed earlier also. And UNWTO refers responsible tourism as a tool for making a destination worth leaving and worth visiting. So this is something which we should keep it in our mind. When somebody visits our place, it should be, of course, it should be worth visiting, but at the same time, it should not really disturb the local living also. And in 2014, I think Kerala got UNWTO Ulysses Award. That is the highest award in the world for responsible tourism, and it went to Kumarakom. And uh, if you are aware of Cochin Airport, Cochin International Airport, this is the one and only airport in the world fully operated with solar energy. This connects to the environment part. We are doing a lot of things towards that. So now I will take you to a video again to understand what kind of responsible tourism is happening in Kumarakom. നോക്കണേ.
Kindly be patient. Our guest has got disconnected, I believe. He will be joining in another 1 minute. Thank you. Sir, I think there was a connection issue. Yes, sir. Now you are audible. Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 second.
So should we connect the presentation from our end? Would that help?
Pardon?
So should we connect the presentation from our end? Would that help?
You cannot see this or what?
Sir, we cannot. We have lost the presentation actually.
Oh, 1 second.
So can we connect it from our end?
1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Can you see it now?
Yes, we were actually done with the video. After that, yes, right, we can see it now.
Okay. I'm sorry, this technology sometimes, Vandita, what is happening? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible. I think
Okay.
the presentation is stuck from your end. So can we
Okay.
connect it?
Yeah, maybe, but it is still. I mean, yeah, it says this PowerPoint is not responding.
Right.
Yeah, but that video is not finished also.
Yes, sir. There was a bit of it left. So I believe, okay, it's stuck. It's still stuck actually.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm so sorry. What about the time? The time constraints, should we stop? It's already 1 hour. Right?
Yes, sir. I'm really sorry. I mean, we have got around 5 to 6 minutes left, so we
Okay.
have to wrap up also. Yes.
Okay, then it's better, you try.
Okay. All right, sir. Just give me a moment.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I hope it is visible.
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible. Yeah, for me, it is fine. So, I think they have students might have got an idea of what I meant by the model, which is being maintained in Kumarakom. So, when it comes to the hotel side, again, there are some hotels, which are doing, very nice, responsible and sustainable tourism activities to maintain the destination intact. It can be an organic farming, it can be a particular kind of a restaurant, which cooks only the materials, from the local. We have got a restaurant called 50-mile diet where they cook only the local procured vegetables or poultry or whatever it is. So, Vandita, can you just go to the next? When it comes to tour operators, again, as I told you earlier, our company is doing a lot of initiatives into sustainability and local community oriented, and we have a special focus on women empowerment. Most of our entrepreneurs are women in the village. It can be a cookery show expert, or maybe a boat women, or something like that. Next, please. So this I already explained about Travel Life. It's a sustainability certification. It's a globally certified. Next, please. So you can see some of the activities, which is being conducted by our company to empower the local community. Next, please. Say next, please. Next. Next. This is a video. You can just play. I think it's stuck. It's okay. I mean, it's a video to just to show you how this responsible tourism is important. To have an interaction with the local people. You can see the tourists are interacting with the local people without any kind of language barriers. These local workers in the tea plantation, they do not even speak English, but I mean you can see how they interact with the. I mean it's a Norwegian group, so they don't even speak English. They are speaking Norwegian, but the communication happens. So this is something which we need to understand. How the system help our country as a nation. Yeah. I'm so sorry because this is, I already mentioned to the very wide subject. But he's a very I mean, what you call even below the minimum that I can talk something about this. Normally, this particular session, I conduct a class with 6 hours continuously. So I'm
So
so
first of
sorry.
all, thank you so much. That was a very informative and enlightening presentation. And the technical glitches that happen, that are like an unavoidable part of all the
Yeah.
virtual meetings. But then again, through since it's virtual, that's why we could invite you all the way from Kerala. You could join us. So
Yeah, I will definitely.
yes, and so sustainability in tourism is such a vast subject. We are very grateful to you that you have covered the most important points in a very compact way, and you have introduced our students to the nuances of the subject. Now, from the basics of what exactly is sustainable tourism to what are its essential components, you have very lucidly explained to all of us how, as tourism professionals as well as individuals, we can move gradually towards sustainability. You have also explained how every form of tourism can be sustainable in nature. That would be the regular need of the industry in the upcoming days. And thank you, sir, so much for showcasing how Kerala has been a pioneer in the concept of promoting sustainability through responsible tourism practice. And that is what exactly brings in the foreign tourists in huge numbers, because in any destination, just having natural and cultural attractions won't suffice. A tourist should get ample chance to involve themselves with the destination in order to make a difference and in order to contribute to a sustained socio-economic as well as environmental development in the region. And lastly, you have also drawn the attention of the audience that no incentives were given by the government to protect the people who are involved in tourism. So sustainability should be a concern across all levels. So, sir, thank you so much. We will just take one question, sir, and we are also extremely sorry from our end because we have time constraint. So, sir, we have a question. Would there be a change in traditional human resource management techniques after the COVID era, keeping in mind the sustainability concerns in this industry?
Actually, when we are talking about sustainability in tourism, there should not be a change in the traditional system. And actually, we should be more going towards, the traditional part, because as I told you, if we are really going away from traditions, then what happens? The technology will come in, and this was a big worry about the tourism industry. And many of my students, across the globe, they were asking, if everyone is going towards technology, what is the scope of tourism professionals in future? But I can tell you very frankly, the technology can give you an infrastructure to frame something, but when it comes to the delivery of a tour or a hospitality product, you need human beings. So without human beings, without the human element, you cannot really deliver. And if any big corporate or company thinks that they can be okay with the technological advancement, that is going to be a foolish thing. I fully believe that the human element in hospitality will be the highlight of especially a country like India, because where our hospitality is, highlighted very much. So definitely the traditional system, of course, we may incorporate a little bit of technology in management or something like that, but still the human element will exist, and that is a charm of India as a destination.
So thank you so much. Now may I request Professor Amrita Choudhury to please deliver the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Ma'am, you are still muted. Could you please unmute? Okay, I think there is an issue from her end. Yeah, we are not able to hear her. So anyway,
her phone, her voice is still on mute.
Yes, that's
Still
what we
muted.
are seeing. So thank you so much.
It's fine, there should not be any formality,
Yes,
it's fine.
so we thank you from the end of all the faculty members who are present here today.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're
Yeah,
audible.
I'm so sorry. This got
It's okay.
hand. Good afternoon, sir. It was a wonderful session, and as rightly said by you, that just 1 hour is not sufficient enough to talk about sustainability and responsible tourism. And you talked very lucidly about the basic three pillars: the people, planet, and profit. And sir, while in this whole discussion, you have again and again used this word, not the word environment, but the planet. I mean, this is high time that we should not confine ourselves to a very small arena, but let us all think about the planet. I think that's the basic moral story. And being the son of the soil, you have very lucidly talked about the farming, and you are basically probably the best person to have. We are very lucky to have you amongst us. Thank you once again, sir, and we would like to have many more sessions in coming days.
Absolutely.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you all the students and faculty. It will be a pleasure to come back again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.